So everyone understands where they can find the books, right? Everyone understands that we're going from a certain textbook called Harmonic Trading. Okay, I'm going to assume that's a yes. Hey, Hoff is in the house, and yep, like I mentioned, he's probably going to be away from his mic. Okay, let's go forward for real. Hey guys, welcome to a study session here at Alpha Commission. I really appreciate you guys joining our study group. And our goal here is to just learn different methods of trading. And what we're starting with is called harmonic trading. My understanding is that harmonic trading was primarily influenced by a man named Scott Carney. And this information was actually introduced to me by one of our residents here at the commission by the name of Gigahoff. Also, some of you know him as Chart Bay. So yeah, Hoff has some special things coming up, guys, related to harmonics, and I just want you to be on the lookout for that because yeah, he's really at the heart of why I started this, and why I want us all to try to learn together and support each other, just to carry on what he already basically set in motion. We're going to be going over the first two chapters of Harmonic Trading by Scott Carney. And let me just scroll up here to the first chapter. Okay, well, that's his introduction. And, he's quite proud of his work. I guess he based these ideas off of older ideas and coined the term harmonic trading. And so, uh, he's very proud of the patterns that he found and the ratios that he found that worked extremely well. And so we want to give credit to him. And a lot of the market has followed his lead. And as we'll see when we start learning about what is harmonic trading, how he built this off of older ideas. So let's just to begin with some type of fundamental understandings. So what is harmonic trading? Well, basically what we're looking for are price patterns and market structure. But importantly, we're also looking for potential future trends, right? Pardon me. So one of the hardest things about trading that I've found, just using EMAs, using just basic trend, momentum, volatility, and those sort of introductory concepts, is that you really don't have an idea of where price action might go. If you're trading on trend, like higher highs and higher lows, uh, there's an expression, the trend is your friend, until the end, right? Once the trend breaks, uh, you can be screwed basically, right? So harmonic trading is um, basically technical measurement strategies that builds on Fib price pattern theory. And using Fibonacci's, uh, numbers have been incredibly powerful in trading for probably the duration of trading. And the key point, the key differentiation between harmonics and using Fib, for example, retracements, is the alignment of setup points. The alignment of these setup points, let's say that we have a point here on a chart, that's at a low spot, and then we have another high point, and then another low point, and this might be the midpoint of a pattern. These alignments, the ratios of where those points are to each other is critical information for estimating future price action. Even if these patterns look similar to other patterns, the precise ratio, and this is really the key point of harmonics, I believe, is the specific ratios of those points um, can tell you a lot about where you might be exiting and entering uh, the market most ideally. And of course, every chart is different, every coin is different, every trade is different, and the macroeconomics, the politics, everything can be different slightly. But these patterns do tend to repeat. And so what Carney did through painstaking work is he tried to identify the most common ones that will give you the best likelihoods of good entrance points and exit points. So one of the concepts that goes along with this is an attempt to identify highly likely reversal points, right? And not just patterns that repeat, but also highly likely reversal points. And the goal is to enter and exit the market at those right spots. So here he calls this order within the chaos. And by the way, if anybody watches this video later on, or maybe they're not part of my group here at Alpha Commission, then you can order this book on Amazon. You can see I ordered this book, so I do own it. I am supporting them. But it's a Harmonic Trading Volume 1, and there's 4 books in this series by Scott Carney. Also, you can get the PDFs for free if you go over to Harmonic Trader. You can get free membership and download the books. So I don't feel too bad about sharing this on my screen, but I do want it to be in the context of learning. And of course, always please support authors and creators in general. But yeah, moving forward, trading behavior is basically defined by fear and greed, right? So when we're talking about Bitcoin, we often refer to the fear and greed index. And this can give us a rough estimate of where to enter and where to exit, because if people are highly fearful, you might want to, DCA in. If people are highly greedy, that might tell you it's time to sell because this market might be getting a little bit overheated. Everyone's a little bit too exuberant. And so this, of course, leads to cycles, right? Of cycles of growth and decline. And collectively, this is just a natural behavior. It's basically how nature operates. Um, things grow and die, right? There's certain natural cycles and universal behaviors that govern energy in any system. And, you know, it's not clear 100% why, but these natural behaviors often follow these fib patterns, these Fibonacci patterns. And so fibs are really essential in a lot of fields of study because um, they align with these natural cyclical behaviors where there's a feedback loop that just arises spontaneously. And a lot of people want to say, oh, this is manipulation, this is, control by, dark agents in the background. But the truth is that these cycles are just as old as time. They appear everywhere. And the only thing is that the smart money has learned these patterns and you haven't, right? And that's where they're taking advantage of you. So they harness these technical patterns, they harness these phenomenon, and people new to the market have not yet. And so that's easy liquidity, for these guys that we then go on and demonize. But patterns like, the Wyckoff pattern, these other types of patterns, they appeared spontaneously, and researchers studied them, and they found out, oh, hey, this is the pattern that naturally arises from markets. And then they said, well, if I'm smart money, I'm going to put my money on it repeating, because this is how human behavior is. And then, once they got enough money or enough influential institutions or whatever got into whatever business it is or whatever the asset is, then they all agree like these are the points, and it starts becoming a feedback loop of self-confirmations, and everyone starts using the same fib numbers. It becomes a culture basically, and so it becomes even more reliable. And they don't destroy it. That smart money doesn't destroy these patterns because they rely on them. And so they don't necessarily front run the pattern. They often let the patterns play out. Because if they don't let the patterns play out and they break the system, which by the way, most people in the market are ignorant about, if they break that system, then they don't have anything to rely on. And as long as we're all ignorant about it, then that's perfectly fine for them. They don't have to front run each other. They can just scratch each other's backs while we all, run around going crazy, panicking. Okay, and so it's really important to um, have your education in trading, and not just the tokenomics of your coin or what it does, but also where's a possible good entry and where's a possibly good exit before you lose all of your liquidity to the smart money. So let's see. Harmonics basically try to chart this, and it's up to you. Now, this is where this is where the market determines if you're smart or not, whether you're smart money or dumb money, whether or not you have the intelligence to decide which pattern is most likely valid. And so that's what we're hopefully doing today, is taking that first step on that journey to becoming smarter money so that we can better decide which pattern is most valid and hone our ability to enter at the right spots and exit at the right spots. So according to Carney, there are basically these 3 stages of a trade. And, trade identification, which, you're just identifying a trade. And he doesn't say it this way, but I would like to compare this to maybe like gambling, right? Buying a lottery ticket or going into a casino and just putting money into the machine. There are a lot of people who just listen to George or, banter or whatever, and they just hear the exuberance in the voice of these very energetic, very hopeful people. And instead of identifying a trade, they just put their money into the machine, and then they pull the lever and they hope whatever lottery ticket they're buying, the scratch off is a win. And of course, for most people, that's not going to be the case. The house usually wins, and so they're essentially gambling. It's just ignorance. Now, it doesn't have to be the worst type of ignorance. Maybe they've at least identified that this market goes up over time. And so that's much better than investing in an asset class that is depreciating over time. But if you're going to be looking for a get-rich scheme, you have to be aware that in a time frame under 2 years, you could lose all of your money, right? If you need to pull your money out within 2 years, you could lose all of your money, and especially under 1 year. So if you're going in like it's a casino and you're buying this asset which hopefully appreciates, and hopefully you're not buying like these ridiculous like rug pull tokens, you at least know the basics and you're buying something decent, then you're probably okay if you can stay in the market for 2 years and you can hodl for 2 years. Then George's philosophy, this forget what his show is called, But then his philosophy works perfectly fine. You just put your, qualified asset in your pocket for 2 years, and you're good to go. But for a lot of people, they're looking to turn a profit in a month, in a week, or they're doing leverage and they want to, do it in 15 minutes, And if you have that type of expectation where you want to get money out of the market within a year, then you really need to know how to identify a good trade. And that's different than just identifying if the price is high or if it's low. It means qualifying that trade based upon these type of price points and these type of patterns such that they have validity to enter it and that your expectations are valid, that what you're going to get out of it. You can go in knowing if it falls under a certain price, you're just going to get out. Sorry, that was just a loss. You took an L on that one, but you didn't lose everything. You know where you're going to exit if it goes wrong, but you also know when you're going to exit when it goes right, because almost all of these coins in crypto, they retrace, and they retrace a lot. And I don't know if you've ever seen the previous cycles. Not everyone has been here for multiple cycles, but if you've been here for more than one cycle, then you know that a lot of these coins have blow off tops. They go to the moon, and then you lose it all. You lose like 90%. It could be within days. It could be within, hours. It could, it just depends on the coin. And you can just lose everything. And the worst feeling in the world is to watch all of that effort that you put in, all of that money that you put in, just go to zero. And maybe you even entered the market at a higher price, but it looked like a good value because it was retracing a little bit and you didn't really know what you were looking at. So there has to be validity to when you identify a trade. You don't have to just buy something because it's low. And so that means that you also know when not to take a trade. And again, I'm just expanding on what Carney's alluding to here. But basically, a lot of people take trades that they shouldn't, that they have no idea where it's invalidated. They have no idea when they should take profit. They just have no concept of this at all. They're just buying because it looks like it's maybe a good, maybe a good coin to buy. Well, then you also have to, of course, execute the trade. And so that means that you have to identify the exact spot that you want to enter in. So you've identified that, okay, this is a valid pattern that's playing out. This is supported by these, metrics or these qualifications. And so it's a valid trade. And then you have to pull the trigger, and the the better you can pull the trigger at an ideal spot of entry, of course, the better off you're going to be in terms of profits. So executing is really important. When you enter can mean the difference between becoming a millionaire in crypto and, just breaking even, you know. And then, of course, if you're trading, which it means that you're not just finding a good entry and then holding it for like 2 years. If you're trading, and by the way, if you expect to take any money out of the market like within under a year, you are trading. Like, don't let anyone tell you you're investing. No, you're not an investor if your money is only in the market for a year, because these cycles, they tend to have long quarterly patterns of decline and growth. So you might be stuck in a coin for a year, maybe even two. And so you have to be a trader if your schedule is less than 2 years. You are a trader if you expect to take your money out of the market. So you're entering and you're taking it out in under 2 years and definitely under 1 year. And so knowing these things and becoming a better trader will help you protect your money and what you thought was an asset when in reality a lot of people are just gambling on even higher time frames. And the most important thing, you know, is to be able to identify common patterns. So this is the benefit that Carney gives to us. This is why all of his work is worthy of all the bragging he does in his books, right? He's not really bragging. He's taking credit for having delivered a series of patterns that are incredibly valuable, worth probably hundreds of billions of dollars, these patterns that he's developed. And what does he get out of it? Maybe a couple bucks off of a book thing and whatever, deals he can. But he's making like hundreds of billions of dollars for the world that use these patterns. And so, yeah, we should respect this guy. We should respect anybody who's developing these type of tools and systems and patterns where we can become smart money, because it's very important. All right, I think I summarized chapter one pretty well. Um Cut through a lot of what he was saying, but those are the essential points that I understood. And I'm going to skip a lot of the nuance in this chapter two, which is about Fibonacci, because I like to be very efficient, kind of like Fibonacci's. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. And so basically, Fibonacci's, as I already explained, it's basically it's a very efficient ratio. There are some ratios which are very inefficient, and then there are some ratios that are very efficient. And in nature, that might be determined by very simple things, like the weight of something, right? A scientist once calculated that there's a limit on the size that a dinosaur could be. It couldn't actually grow on Earth larger than a certain size. And it had to do with the ratio of the volume of the body that it took to distribute oxygen versus the surface area. And these things have ratios, right? Because the surface area of the lungs, the amount of air that you can get into your mouth within any one slice of a breath, um, it has to expand to fill the whole body. And so back in the days when there was a lot of plants on Earth, and this huge amount of oxygen was being produced. And it was just the world was basically ruled by plants back then. There weren't as many animals as today. The world was highly oxygenated, and you had gigantic insects, like gigantic insects, right? As big as human beings, or big, some were even bigger. And it's because the oxygen ratio was at a certain level that it could saturate the entire body. As there became more and more animals on the planet, that ratio um, got reduced. And it just so happens that Fibonacci is one of these most efficient ratios for a variety of applications. And so coincidentally, maybe not even intentionally, but coincidentally, they end up appearing in things like plant growth, um, the spiral of a seashell, the ratio of the parts of human body, um, how DNA is constructed. And um, humans have used it for things like building the pyramids. There's nothing mystical or magical about this number. It's just an efficient ratio. And there are a whole bunch of efficient ratios, just like the number pi, which is, a ratio of the parts of a circle. And, because circles are important patterns, that extreme efficiency of the number pi, which isn't even, it has an infinite number of decimal points, right? Like extending infinitely. It's just a ratio that's so important to the world. And so these other efficient numbers also come up in trading. They also come up in any organic and naturally occurring patterns, which human beings, just randomly trading things, create patterns. And even in that chaos of randomness, patterns appear, right? Just because, people are very similar. We do have similar fears. We do have similar needs. And so that's why these efficient ratios tend to come up over and over again. And where it's not efficient, where it's just the chaos, we don't see anything, So there's nothing really special that we see a fib is playing out, except that, oh hey, that's where all of us align, you know. And then we start to self-reinforce it because we're measuring and looking for fibs. And smart money's trading on it. And so then it becomes part of our culture. And so it can actually strengthen, whereas the randomness doesn't. Okay, so that's just a little bit understanding of what we're talking about by these ratios. And there's other systems possible. Carney, specifically points out, for example, the Dow theory, where it's just maybe you can just consider it like an estimation, and they use 1/3. They don't use like specific, the 1618 or the 618. They use just 1/3. They just give it an estimate. But that's not very highly technical, and it doesn't give you great entries and great exits. And so Carney did a lot of work to try to figure out which numbers correspond to which points, and which ratios correspond to which points. And then if you can identify those, then you can, determine that, oh, this is maybe bullish or bearish, depending on if you can see that ratio or not. And so here, for the rest of this chapter, he basically introduces primarily the 618, which is incredibly important. Maybe a price comes up to here, it does a retracement to this level, and then it can tell you, well, you can estimate which direction it might go if you can do a fib retracement. And for those of you who maybe haven't used the fib retracement tool, you can get it using TradingView, which is free. So there are a whole bunch of different there are a whole bunch of different ways to find fibs. There's fib time, fib circles, fib spirals, fib speed fan, fib wedge, and you can really get into how fibs are used. But primarily we're talking about the fib retracement tool. And you're measuring either from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top just to see what the next move might be. And well, it's a bit hard to see on my screen because I got a bunch of junk going on. But basically, you just go from the top to the bottom, or the bottom to the top, and you can see which fib number you're aligning with. I'm not really going to go into that too much because we can save that for a follow-up. It's already a bit long and a lot of content to absorb if you haven't been introduced to this stuff yet. So the tools can come later. But the key point is that we're just looking for these ratios, and we use the fib tool to try to find out, where, which fib we're aligning with. And if we don't align with a fib, like maybe we're just going straight up here, there's no fib just along this straight line, then you don't consider that, a point, or if this pattern doesn't end up looking like anything, then maybe it's not the best thing to trade. You don't know what you're getting into. But if you do recognize these fib points as you start to measure things, then you can start saying, oh, I have this point, I have this point, I have this, midpoint to a potential next pattern. And so this looks like it might be such and such a pattern. And so I've identified a possible trade. Now I need to figure out where my possible, entrance can be. Other than that, he introduces a variety of other, fib retracements, and he starts giving these names, right? Small names for the patterns. He emphasizes that the 886 is pretty important, and you can read all of this in the text. I don't need to go over it because we're not looking at specific patterns yet. We're just getting an introduction to fibs. And so here he's just showing like there's a variety of different fib numbers that you could let's say that this was a price action. You started here at $1. You're going up here to whatever dollars. And then you start retracing, right? Maybe you hit the 382, the 0.5, and the 0.707. And he might say, well, the 0.5 is the most common one. So just going blindly, not really thinking about it, maybe the 0.5 is like a good, solid place. But if you've identified a possible pattern, then, maybe you can get a better entry here or whatnot. Again, we're not being too specific right now. And here he's just showing like you can get a possibly better entrance, right? If you know the difference between the 127 and the 113, maybe you can get a better entrance. Or maybe you have the same pattern and there's like a two possible points, that you can be considering. Yep. So let's see. Yeah, he just emphasizes that these are basically natural patterns, and there's nothing mystical about it. It's not like astrology or anything. Uh, Fibonacci's are the building blocks upon which he builds harmonics. And so understanding these fib numbers are important for going forward as we study the next chapters. And also, there's other theories like Elliott wave theory, um, which also make use of fibs and those sort of things. So if you've ever heard of Elliott waves or perhaps other trading methods, again, fibs just come up time and time again. And so it's very important to just get a primer in what they are and understand that. Yeah. Okay, guys, I tried to do that as efficiently as possible. We only took about half an hour. If you guys want to open up for discussion, you can. Otherwise, I recommend you to download the books. Um, Going forward, I believe we're going to start identifying key patterns. You see, he's going to start talking about certain specific types of patterns, and then we can understand which ratios we're looking for and what are the possible points of entry and exit or whatever. And he'll give some examples. And so I'm pretty excited to start the chapter 3 and chapter 4, and I hope that you guys read that before our next session. We haven't determined when that will be, but again, this is just a free group, so we're going to keep it pretty casual. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put it in the stream chat notes, please. Yep. And again, we're just open talk right now. So thank you for attending and listening to me lecture a little bit. But again, I just want to emphasize that I'm not a harmonics expert. I don't claim to be an expert at this, and I'm learning with you. That's what Alpha Commission is about. Hopefully, we all learn together and we grow together. So again, thank you. And please read chapters 3 and 4 for the next time we meet.